I'm Ted Keys, your host and top freight agent training expert here in Southern California. This topic comes from my 30 plus years of business, sales, and freight moving success. Watch, learn, and apply it. You'll move more freight efficiently, effectively, effortlessly, and make more money financially. And call me at 626-309-9141 with any questions. Now explode your business with...
Hello and welcome everybody to my Tuesday conference call. I'm Ted Keys, your host and top freight agent training expert here in Southern California. Today I'll show you how to move more freight efficiently, effectively, and effortlessly so you make more money financially. And after the call today, go to my website, tedkeysonline.com, to hear more of my podcasts, read more of my blog posts, watch more of my videos, and while you're there, visit my freight sales success store for top-notch freight moving products to explode your business today. And if you have any questions today, any questions regardless of what it is, or specifically, are you ready for my top producing one-on-one personal freight sales, freight broker training? Then give me a call, Ted Keys. I'm at 626-309-9141. Today's training topic is the best places to research freight prospects. Again, the best places to research freight prospects. So for those of you that are on my contact list, just go to any one of those email invites that I sent you today, scroll down to the bottom, and we're going to go over those free attachments again on my topic today, the best places to research your freight prospects. If there's one thing that you must do before you make contact with any new prospect, any new freight prospect that you have on your list, is you've got to research them. You have to find out who they are, what they do, especially the prospect themselves, the individual that you have to, that you're going to talk to. Now, a lot of times you won't know who that is going into the call, but you must find out what their company does at least, okay? At the minimum, find out what they do specifically. What do they make? What do they broker? Are they a middleman? Whatever it is. So when you go in and you make contact with the freight prospect that is the shipping decision maker, you can already have a connected conversation with them to get your relationship up and running immediately. So let's go ahead and scroll down. As I said, scroll down to any one of those email invites, scroll down to those attachments. We're going to go over them one by one on the best places to research your freight prospects. Let's go ahead and open up that first attachment and let's get into our very, very important call today. So as I was saying, you've got to research your prospect before you call them. All right, but let's talk about this more in detail. And there's really no wrong way to research freight prospects before you actually call them. There are definite advantages to doing it to be gained, and some networks are more important to check than others. But as long as you're doing your research on freight prospects, you're already more than halfway there. Oh, how important that is that you do this research about what I'm going to talk about. The only way a freight sales agent can truly fail is by going into a call totally cold, not knowing anything about the prospect that they're about to contact. Shipping decision makers, they just don't have the patience now to answer these basic questions whose answers are readily available right now on the internet, nor do they have time to fill you in on their freight challenges. Mostly they expect you to know what their freight challenges is, and that's what happens when you actually research a prospect. So when you pick up the phone while not gathering any background information on them, well, at best you stand to annoy that freight prospect, and at worst they're going to hang up on you. All right, that's just, you know, from the best to the worst. At worst, they're going to hang up on you if you don't know something about them already. Then you can be sure that there won't be any load information exchanging hands, or you won't be moving any of their freight loads. And you may not have time to ask every question that I provide on my freight sales information sheet, in my freight sales success guide, during every call as well. But just make sure that you ask a few of those questions, okay? And again, the questions you ask are going to be dependent on the information that they give back to you. The more you personalize your conversation to your freight prospect and their business, all right, the greater the opportunity that you'll capture their interest and their freight business. So, what are the best places to research freight prospects? Well, I'm going to go over 10 of them with you. I'm going to go over the 10 best places to research your freight prospects. The first one, okay? The first one is to check your freight prospect's LinkedIn profile. Now, this is when you know who your prospect is. I mean, you could get that information from a number of different sources, but this is when you actually know who your freight prospect is. You're going to check their LinkedIn profile. Well, what do I mean by that? Well, LinkedIn, okay, LinkedIn is the best way to research your freight prospects. I mean, by far, LinkedIn, it's a camaraderie of business owners, and they basically spell out what they do in their profession. It's the best way to research your freight prospects. If you only research your prospects, okay, if you only research them on one platform before your call, then make it LinkedIn. And you'll see how it works once you get on there and once you get set up. After finding your freight prospects on LinkedIn, then check out each of the following areas of their profile. This is what you're going to check. There are 5 major things that you're going to check on their profile. The first thing to check, all right, is the experience at their current job. What experience do they have at their current job? Most people list their primary job duties or major projects that they've worked on. I mean, that's another thing that you can check. This is going to assist you to get a sense of what falls under their jurisdiction and what doesn't. So the first thing you're going to do is experience. What experience do they have at their current job? Second thing that you're going to check on their LinkedIn profile is the experience at their former jobs, provided that they list it. Most people have the opportunity to list, in a series of where they've worked over the last, 5 or 10 years. So look at the experience at their former job, which means customizing your messaging. You're going to customize your messaging based on their career history. Okay, this is all valuable information, so really look at that. Is it, just as an example, is this their first time working as a shipping decision maker? As an actual freight prospect, have they done this before? Or do they already have experience in the profession? And if they do, how much experience do they have? So the second thing you're going to check is the experience at their former job, provided on the amount of information that they list. Third thing you're going to check on their LinkedIn profile is, do they have any shared connections with you, provided that you're set up yourself on LinkedIn? Do they have any shared connections with you? Okay. If you have a connection in common with your freight prospects, bring it up. I mean, whatever those connections are, bring it up during your conversations with them, all right? And ask if they actually know this person. Say, hey, I came across your profile because you and I are connected through Joe Smith. Do you know Joe Smith by chance? Okay, and again, you're not just going to blurt this out, you're going to weave this into your conversation. Also, later on, that Joe Smith can be a referral, provided he does know him. It could be a referral back to Joe Smith, provided you get a lot of information and that he does know who Joe Smith is. Third thing to look at is, do you have any shared connections? The fourth thing you're going to look at on their profile is, you're going to check their LinkedIn groups. Check their LinkedIn groups. Click through their groups. I mean, everybody on everyone's profile, it says what groups we belong to. So click through those groups to see what's being talked about, and especially where they've posted any articles. If you check my profile, you're going to see that I'm a member of 25 plus groups. And again, these are the big groups, okay? I don't waste a lot of time with the little groups. You're going to see that I'm a member of 25 plus groups, and I've posted over 100 articles already. I mean, by the time you watch this video, I may have posted hundreds of articles, but if you want to see what articles that I posted, what videos I posted, podcasts, whatever it is, go to my profile and you'll see, just to give you an example. So the fourth thing you're going to look at on their profile is to check their LinkedIn groups. Fifth thing that you're going to look at is check their newsfeed activity. I mean, are they active in their newsfeed? Look at what your freight prospect has already written, shared, and where. So 5 things to check on their LinkedIn profile, just real quick: the experience at their current job, experience at their former job. Do they have any shared connections with you? Check their LinkedIn groups, see what activity that they're involved in. And the 5th one is check their newsfeed. This is all information that you can now take and go back to your prospect, and you have some relatable information that you can share with them right away. So you're not calling them, thinking, what am I going to talk about? What am I going to talk about with this freight prospect? So LinkedIn is your number one. It's the best place that you can go to research your freight prospect. Second place to go to research your freight prospect is to check your freight prospect's Twitter account, provided they have a Twitter account. Does your freight prospect have a Twitter account? Yes? Then spend a few minutes on their page to get a sense of what they're interested in. Boy, when you check their Twitter page, look at their news feed, you'll see a lot about what they're interested in, whether it be their job, whether it be politics, whatever it is. You'll get a good indication just by checking their Twitter account. Read a handful of the postings that they've retweeted, or check an issue that they've posted on their own. If you looked at my Twitter account, you'll see that I post in there daily and throughout the day. Click back through their news feed to spot any major trends in their interests or in their shipping profession. Second place to look at is to check your freight prospect's Twitter account. Third place to look at to research your freight prospect is to check their company's Twitter account. Check their company's Twitter account. What do I mean by that? Well, what kinds of content and messaging has their company been posting and promoting on Twitter? Okay, that's just the first thing that you can look at. Understanding how the company presents itself to its customers will assist you to better understand how to present yourself to your freight prospect. So the third place to check, or the third place to research your freight prospect, is to check their company's Twitter account. Fourth place to look to research your freight prospect is to check the company's press release pages. Check the company's press release pages. What do I mean by that? Well, scroll through the recent press releases and see if anything major has been announced, such as leadership changes, product releases, financial statements, events, or any new customer wins, okay? A lot of times when a company sends out a press release, they do it for a reason. Not only do they want you to get attention, well, actually that's the first thing they do it for, but whatever the attention they're looking at, that's what they want you to know. So when you check the company's press releases, then you can go to your freight prospect, to the shipping decision maker, and bring up those items that they talked about in these company releases, or these press releases that they just released. So fourth place to research your freight prospect is to check your company's press release pages. Fifth place to research your freight prospects is to check their competitors' press release pages. Check your freight prospects' competitors' release pages. What do I mean by that? Well, if a competitor has made a significant announcement, just recently in the marketplace, within the past few months, that will color the way your prospect views your offering, okay? Either as a competitive advantage or an unnecessary expense in the face of more pressing priorities. Again, figure out your footing before you pick up the phone and actually make contact with that particular freight prospect. So the fifth place, again, the fifth best place to research your freight prospect is to check their competitors' freight press release pages. Sixth place to research your freight prospect is to check the company's financial statements. Again, check the company's financial statements. Well, how do you get a hold of those? Well, if your freight prospect works for a public company, a company that appears on a stock exchange, it's a good idea to check out its most recent financial statement, financial report on the SEC's website. This is what they have to do when they're a publicly traded company. All this information, because they're public, all their information is public, okay? This will give you an idea of how the company is performing, all right? As well as the challenges that it's facing with their freight included. And also check out the risk factor section as well, because a lot of times when you bring a company under your freight broker company, your corporate office is going to do some credit checks, okay? Last thing that you want to do is spend a lot of time building a relationship with a potential prospect, and then your credit department does a credit check, and then they find out that, hey, this company has very poor credit. The only thing we can do is put them on prepay, which is the company has to pay for their load before you even move it. That's like that's like a dagger through your heart when you hear that, when you spent all this time bringing a prospect in, you turn them into a customer, and then you find out that they're on prepay. So provided there are risk factors shown, look at those risk factors. That'll give you an indication whether you should pursue that freight prospect or not. The seventh place to research a freight prospect, guys, is to check the company's blog and any recent postings that they put on that blog. Check your company's blog or any recent postings that have gone on that blog. Read what your freight prospects read, and especially read what your freight prospects write. I couldn't say that more importantly. Read what your freight prospects read, and especially read what your freight prospects write. If you want to get in right away with a freight prospect, find out what's on their mind, what they're blogging about. If your freight prospect maintains a blog, be sure to read at least the last few posts that they've posted and comment on them. Comment on those postings during the call that you're making with them. In addition, visit the websites of popular industry blogs and peruse those latest posts to learn more about the trends and challenges that's shaping your freight prospect's business environment. So the seventh place to research a freight prospect is to check the company, that prospect's blog, and what are their recent postings. Eighth place to research a freight prospect is to check your freight prospect's Facebook profile. Again, this is provided you know who the prospect is going in to that first call. Check your freight prospect's Facebook profile. Now we're getting back to social media. Facebook, it's more of a personal social network, and so typically less important for researching purposes than LinkedIn on Twitter. Still, it's helpful to check out your freight prospect's Facebook profile to pick up a few personal tidbits about them. However, make sure to weave these into your conversation as you're having your initial conversation with your prospect naturally, or you risk giving off an overly personal vibe, okay? You don't want, even though you want to know as much as you can about your prospect, boy, if you start, rapid fire all this information to them, they're going to think, hey, what kind of research has this guy done? He knows so much about me. What's he been doing? Has he been stalking me? So again, you want to weave this information into your conversation. This is also another good place to see if you have any friends in common. Again, going back to LinkedIn and those shared connections, see if you have any friends in common on their Facebook profile. So that's number 8, okay? Number nine, ninth place to research your freight prospects, best place is to Google the freight company. Google the freight company. Conduct a search on the company to bring up any news stories that that they've kept off their press pages, whether it's good or bad. Again, this is all information that you're collecting so that you have some information going into that first and second and third call that you're having with them. Select third-party publications that are high quality, and reliable. Don't go to the National Enquirer. Don't go to stuff like that. Go to stuff go to sources that are really high quality and reliable, that give you information about your freight prospects company, information sources that you can trust. So number 9 is Google the freight company. Great way to go about it. The 10th best place to go to research a freight prospect is to Google your freight prospect. I mean, just whoever it is, provided you know who it is. If you want to Google me, type in Ted Keys in the Google bar there, okay? Do the same with your freight prospect, all right? Search your freight prospect's name in quotes to surface any other information about them, all right, that may have fallen through the cracks in your initial searches, guys. Is your freight prospect a baking contest winner? Just as an example, see what they've done recently. Or are they an amateur trumpet player or an amateur golfer or an amateur painter? I mean, it could be anything like that. Boy, you bring this stuff up during your initial phone conversations, it's going to keep them on the phone with you. If they've won any of these awards, these topics will get their attention immediately when you bring them up during those initial calls with them. So again, what I did, guys, is I went over the 10 best places to research your freight prospects. I'm just going to go over them real quickly again. The first is to check your freight prospects LinkedIn profile. Second, check your freight prospects Twitter account. Third is to check their company's Twitter account. Fourth, check the company's press release pages. Fifth is to check their competitors' press release pages. Have their competitors put anything out there? The sixth is to check the company's financial statements, provided they're a publicly traded company. Seventh, all right, is to check the company's blog and any of their postings. All you have to do is, again, put their company into that Google or Bing search, that search space there. Anything like that will come up. The 8th best place to research a freight prospect is to check your freight prospect's Facebook profile. Again, provided you know who your freight prospect is. And this is always something that you can do after your first conversation as well, when you find out who the shipping decision maker is. The 9th place to research your freight prospects is to Google the freight company. The 10th place to research your freight prospect is to Google your freight prospect yourself. Google them yourself, whoever it is. Joe Smith, Ted Keys, Tom Jones, whoever it is, just type in their name along. It's going to assist you. If you type in the name of their company, there's a high probability that something has been written about your prospect working for such and such a company. So again, those are the attachments that I just went over for the best places to research your freight prospects. Put these into play as soon as you get off the phone today. In closing today, guys, I'll ask you again, do you have any questions about what I went over today on my call about the best places to research freight prospects? Yes? Then give me a call, Ted Keys. I'm at 626-309-9141. The best question that I can ask you right now, again, provided that you saw what I train on, are you ready to join our top producing freight sales team? When you're ready, again, give me a call, Ted Keys. I'm at 626-309-9141. Great to have you on my call today, on my Tuesday conference call, which I hold every Tuesday, 2 p.m. Pacific time, 5 p.m. Eastern time. I'll see you all again next week at the same time. Take care. God bless you all. I'll see you all again next week on my Tuesday conference call. Bye-bye. When you arrive at my Freight Sales Success Store today, you'll see a host of products available there for purchase. First one you'll see available is my flagship product. That is my Freight Sales Success Guide, typically for beginner and struggling freight agents. If you're searching for that daily motivation to set goals, to achieve them, to pick up the phone daily and connect and build relationships with the marketplace, then opt for my Freight Sales Success Quotes. And if you're searching for those specific skills, and there are many skills, many individual skills required to be successful in this profession, then opt for my Freight Sales Success Skill. I highly recommend each one of these products, available for purchase today in my Freight Sales Success Store. Do you have any questions again? Do you have any questions about today's call? Or more importantly, are you ready for my top producing one-on-one personal freight sales, freight broker training? Then give me, Ted Keys, a call. I'm at 626-309-9141. Great topic for today. Take these skills, apply them. You'll be amazed at what happens to your results.